Have you ever wondered if there are things you should never share with your family, no matter how close you are? Have you ever sat quietly in your room, thinking about your life, your memories, the things you've lived through, and felt a small voice inside whisper, "This part belongs only to you"? If you have, you're not alone. As the years pass, especially after 75, life begins to teach us its final, most profound lessons. Lessons that no book ever wrote and no teacher ever taught. Lessons carved into us through decades of joy, disappointment, sacrifice, heartbreak, and hope. And one of those lessons is this: silence is not deception. Silence is wisdom. When we're young, we're taught to speak openly, to share everything, to communicate no matter what. But as we age, we begin to understand a deeper truth. Not every thought needs an audience. Not every memory needs to be reopened. Not every truth needs to be passed on, especially if it brings more harm than healing. There comes a time in life when peace becomes more important than proving a point. When dignity becomes more valuable than explaining your past. When protecting the love within your family matters more than revealing every detail of your own story. And after 75, that peace, that dignity, becomes priceless. You begin to realize that your emotional energy is sacred. Your inner world is sacred. And your well-being, your independence, your quiet sense of self, these become the foundation of your happiness. But here's something many people never understand until it's too late. Sometimes the things we reveal destroy the peace we worked a lifetime to build. A single comment, a confession said in vulnerability, a financial truth spoken too openly. These things can shift relationships in ways that can never be undone. Some truths invite unwanted opinions. Some memories invite judgment. Some confessions create emotional burdens for the younger generations, burdens they never asked to carry. And so, with age comes a gentler kind of strength. A strength that chooses calm over conflict. A strength that chooses silence not out of fear, but out of deep self-respect. A strength that says, "I will keep what is mine, and share only what brings love." If you are over 75, or caring for someone who is, you need to hear this. Because today, in this video, we're going to talk about something incredibly important. We're going to uncover the 4 things older adults should keep private, not to hide anything, not to push anyone away, but to protect peace, to preserve dignity, and to honor the emotional balance of your relationships. These 4 things hold real psychological weight. They can shape how your family sees you, how they treat you, and even how peacefully you spend the final chapters of your life. And if you understand them deeply, if you take them to heart, you can avoid unnecessary heartache, prevent misunderstandings, strengthen the bonds with the people you love, and keep your inner world safe from conflict and misinterpretation. So stay with me until the very end. Because what you'll hear today isn't just advice. It's wisdom gathered from lifetimes. Wisdom that can protect you, guide you, and help you keep your later years filled with harmony, respect, and emotional freedom. Now, let's begin with the first truth. The one that silently shapes families more than anything else. Why this matters. Money is one of the most sensitive forces in any family, even when everyone loves each other deeply. It has a quiet way of changing how people think, how they act, and even how they see the person who has it. When you reach your 70s and beyond, you are standing on a mountain of experience. You've worked, struggled, saved, sacrificed, and survived more than anyone will ever truly understand. Every dollar you have carries a story: where it came from, how hard it was earned, what you gave up to save it, and why it matters to you. But here's the difficult truth. The moment you reveal every detail about your finances to your family, the energy in the room changes, often without anyone saying a word. Not because your family is greedy. Not because they don't love you. But because money rewires expectations automatically, almost biologically. When older adults begin sharing exact numbers, how much is in their bank account, how much is invested, what their pension pays, and what they plan to leave behind, they unintentionally invite emotions that are impossible to control. Competition among siblings. One begins to wonder who will get what. Another silently compares. Someone else feels overlooked or entitled. Silent resentment. If one child has helped more, they may feel they deserve more. If one child is struggling, they may see your savings as a safety net for them. And even if no one says it aloud, the tension grows. Pressure. Suddenly, adult children may start giving opinions about how you spend your own money. Whether you should travel. Whether you should buy something. Whether you should help someone. Whether you should be careful, because they're thinking about the future, not your present happiness. This is not because your family is bad. It's because money carries emotional weight that no one can fully escape. Once financial details are spoken, you cannot unsay them. You cannot erase the change in how people think. You cannot remove expectations once they have taken root. And the biggest tragedy is this. People stop seeing the parent, and start seeing the inheritance. Not intentionally, but slowly, over time. B. Psychological reason. There is a deep psychological reason why elders should keep their financial details private. Financial privacy protects your dignity, independence, and emotional authority. When your family does not know exact numbers, you are still the decision maker of your own life. You control how you spend, what you invest, who you support, how you enjoy your final years. You maintain the autonomy that took decades to build. Because here is what happens when older adults reveal everything. Family members begin offering advice. Advice becomes influence. Influence becomes pressure. Pressure becomes control. And that control starts quietly. Maybe you shouldn't take that trip, it costs too much. Are you sure you want to give money to that friend? I think you're spending too quickly. Mom, we're just worried about your future. Dad, don't make decisions alone. At first, it sounds caring. But slowly, emotionally, it chips away at your freedom. You start second-guessing yourself. You hesitate before buying something small you enjoy. You avoid treating yourself because you're afraid of what they'll think. You begin living for their approval instead of your comfort. And the saddest part? You lose the dignity of making choices for yourself. Keeping financial details private is not about secrecy. It is about emotional protection, preserving the balance that keeps relationships loving and respectful. Story example: Robert, age 82. Let's look at the story of Robert, an 82-year-old man who learned this lesson the hard way. Robert was a proud father of 3 children. He had worked his entire life, sometimes 2 jobs at once, to build a small but solid financial future. When he turned 80, he decided to sit his children down and tell them everything. He thought it would give them clarity. He thought it would prevent future conflict. He thought it would bring his family closer. Instead, something shifted. The children, at first, were grateful. But soon after, Robert began noticing small changes. One child began suggesting how he should spend. Another child became distant, feeling that the financial distribution wasn't fair. The third child suddenly started calling more, not out of love, but concern about protecting the inheritance. None of them realized what they were doing. None of them intended to hurt him. But the atmosphere had changed forever. Robert found himself avoiding certain purchases because he didn't want to be judged. He felt pressure not to enjoy his own money. His independence, something he valued deeply, was slipping away. One afternoon, he confessed to a close friend. "The biggest mistake I made was telling them. I should have kept my money private until the end." Not because his children were bad, but because they were human. What to do instead? If you want peace in your later years, here is the wiser path. 1. Prepare a will. Make sure everything is written legally, clearly, and without ambiguity. This prevents family conflict and protects your wishes. 2. Organize your important documents. Keep bank statements, property papers, medical directives, insurance details, and identification in one secure place. Label them clearly so your executor, or lawyer, can access them effortlessly when needed. 3. Choose a trusted executor. This person should be responsible, emotionally stable, trustworthy, not easily influenced by others. Someone who respects your wishes without question. A lawyer or neutral third party is often better than a family member. 4. Share only what is necessary. You do not need to reveal how much you have, how much you plan to give, where every investment is, the exact size of your estate. Instead, you can simply say, "I've arranged everything. When the time comes, everything will be clear and fair." That's all. No numbers. No details. No expectations. This protects you. And it protects your relationships. As we grow older, something changes in the way we experience time. The future becomes quieter, simpler, almost softer. But the past? The past becomes louder. Memories begin to rise like waves. Childhood moments, early mistakes, old loves, words you wish you had spoken, and words you wish you had never said. You reach an age where memories visit more often than plans. A smell, a song, a photograph, a familiar street. Suddenly they open a door you haven't walked through in decades. And with those memories come regrets. Not the dramatic regrets we see in movies, but quiet ones. I should have spent more time with my children. I wish I hadn't ended that friendship. Maybe I was too hard, or maybe too soft. I wonder what would have happened if I had chosen differently. Regrets feel heavier with age, not because they hurt more now, but because we finally have the maturity to understand them. And for many older adults, especially after 75, there is a strong temptation to confess everything, to unload the emotional weight, to explain what you did, why you did it, what you wish you could undo. It feels like a final cleansing, a last attempt to make peace before time closes its hand. But here is the truth. Not every regret needs to be shared, because not every regret brings healing when spoken aloud. Why they should stay private. When you reveal your deepest regrets to your family, the meaning does not stay the same. Your intention is to release sadness. But what they hear, what they feel, what they interpret, those things can be very different. Your children, grandchildren, or younger family members have not lived your life. They do not know your experiences, your pressures, your fears, your circumstances. They see your actions through their lens, not through your truth. When you share deep regrets like an old mistake, a past relationship, a wrong decision, something you feel ashamed of, your family might not understand the emotional landscape you lived in. Instead of giving them clarity, it might give them confusion. Instead of making them feel closer to you, it might create distance. Instead of helping them love you more, it might make them pity you. And here is something many elders never expect. Confessing deep regrets can change how your family sees you. For decades, you've been their anchor, their foundation, their strength, their guide. But a single deeply painful regret can shift that image. They may start seeing you not as the strong figure they leaned on, but as someone wounded, fragile, or broken. And that is not the legacy you want to leave behind. Regrets are natural. They are human. But sharing them is not always healing. Sometimes it does more harm than good. Psychological insight. There is a profound psychological truth about regret. Some regrets can only be healed inside the heart of the person who lived them. Regret is not always a wound, it is sometimes a whisper, a reminder, a shadow of an old feeling that no longer needs to harm anyone. You might think, I need to explain myself before I leave this world. But often, what you truly need is not explanation, it's self-forgiveness. Because understanding rarely comes from speaking the regret. Understanding comes from finally letting go of the version of yourself you used to be. And here's something important. People do not need to know everything you regret to love you. They love you for the person you are today, not the choices you made decades ago. Some regrets lose their power when they are forgiven quietly, personally, peacefully. You do not owe the world every detail of your internal struggles. Some chapters are meant to close without witnesses. Psychological insight. There is a profound psychological truth about regret. Some regrets can only be healed inside the heart of the person who lived them. Regret is not always a wound, it is sometimes a whisper, a reminder, a shadow of an old feeling that no longer needs to harm anyone. You might think, I need to explain myself before I leave this world. But often, what you truly need is not explanation, it's self-forgiveness. Because understanding rarely comes from speaking the regret. Understanding comes from finally letting go of the version of yourself you used to be. And here's something important. People do not need to know everything you regret to love you. They love you for the person you are today, not the choices you made decades ago. Some regrets lose their power when they are forgiven quietly, personally, peacefully. You do not owe the world every detail of your internal struggles. Some chapters are meant to close without witnesses. Balanced advice. This does not mean you should remain emotionally closed. This does not mean you should never talk about your past. This does not mean you should carry everything alone. There is a balance. Here is the difference. Share the wisdom from your regrets, not the wounds. Sharing a regret might hurt your family. Sharing a lesson from that regret can guide them. Instead of saying, "I regret not being a better parent," say, "Spend time with the people you love. It goes faster than you think." Instead of confessing, "I should never have married your father," say, "Choose a partner who values your peace." Instead of revealing an old painful secret from decades ago, share the insight. Forgive quickly. You don't want to carry anger for a lifetime. Wisdom uplifts. Regrets burden. So speak the wisdom. Keep the wounds where they belong, inside the heart that has already lived through them. Your family does not need to inherit your pain. They need to inherit your guidance. And you deserve to spend your later years in peace, not reopening doors that should remain gently closed. Why this should stay private. As we grow older, health becomes a more frequent visitor in our thoughts. The body slows down, reminders of time appear in places we never expected, and little aches carry big meanings. The body slows down, reminders of time appear in places we never expected, and little aches carry big meanings. It's natural, expected, even, to feel fear. Fear of sickness. Fear of losing independence. Fear of becoming a burden. Fear of what tomorrow may bring. But here is a reality many older adults don't realize until they see the consequences. Sharing every health fear with your family does not lighten your worries, it multiplies them. When you reveal every symptom, every doubt, every late-night fear, every "what if this means something serious?" your family doesn't just listen, they internalize it. And without meaning to, they begin to overreact to small issues. Panic at every cough, ache, or complaint. Monitor you in ways that feel suffocating. Interfere with your independence. Treat you like someone fragile, not capable. They may start insisting on checking your medications, demanding to attend doctor appointments, criticizing your food choices, controlling your activity levels, calling constantly, not out of love, but out of fear. Their anxiety becomes another weight added to yours. And because they love you, because they care deeply, they often don't know where to stop. One health worry can snowball into arguments, stress, overprotectiveness, tension in the household, and you feeling less free than before. When you are treated like someone who is withering, instead of someone who is still living, still thinking, still capable, your dignity suffers. Many elders say, "It's not the illness that hurts me. It's feeling like I've lost control of my own life." The truth is simple. Not every fear needs an audience. Not every ache needs a discussion. Not every concern needs to become a family emergency. You deserve to carry yourself with strength, not to have fear define your identity in the eyes of the people you love. What to share instead. Keeping health fears private does not mean ignoring your medical needs. It does not mean hiding important information. And it does not mean facing everything alone. It simply means being wise about what you share, and how you share it. 1. Share what is medically necessary. Your family should know. If you have a serious diagnosis. If a doctor recommends a specific treatment. If you need help getting to appointments. If you require support in emergencies. If you are unable to care for yourself, these things matter. These things require action, planning, and support. But they do not need to know. Every headache, every strange feeling, every fear you Googled at midnight, every suspicion you have about your own body. Those emotional fears often create chaos, not comfort. 2. Share clear facts, not interpretations. Say, the doctor wants to run a test next week. Not, I think something is seriously wrong with me. Say, I've been feeling a bit tired lately. Not, I'm scared this is the beginning of something terrible. Say, I have an appointment scheduled, just keeping on top of things. Not, I'm worried I might not have much time left. Facts keep your dignity. Fears transfer emotional weight to the people who love you. 3. Share practical needs, not emotional storms. If you need your family to drive you to an appointment, help with groceries, pick up medication, be aware of a medical instruction, tell them. But don't feel obligated to pour out every fear you feel in the quiet hours of the night. Those fears are often whispers of uncertainty, not truths. You don't need to pass them on. Point 4. Seek emotional understanding in the right places. Not all emotional fears should fall on your family's shoulders. You can share them with a therapist, a support group, a spiritual guide, a trusted friend, a counselor, or even a private journal. These places allow you to express fear without creating panic, imbalance, or family stress. 5. Protect your independence. Your silence is not hiding. It is protecting your right to live with respect. Your right to make choices. Your right to be seen as capable.